In today's video, Joe Hayman, our seasoned wildlife exclusion expert, will walk you through how to assemble a multi-flue chimney cover by breaking it down step by step using simple tools and easy-to-follow tips. Let's get started.
We've used the three measurements to buy the big top. We've used the length, we've used the width, and then we've used how tall. And we said before that the flue stuck up 4 inches from the crown, and we need a good 5 or 6 inches above that. So we selected the 10-inch tall big top. And so what we ended up getting here was a 17 by 49 by 10. Now, how did we get to that number? We started with a 51 by a 20 and a half. Well, on the big tops, in order to mount them, there's a mounting flange that goes around the edge that we'll show you in a moment. The mounting flange is 1.5 inches wide, so we have to account for that. If we just simply bought a big top the same width as the top of the crown, the mounting flanges would stick over the edge. So what we need to do is subtract that 1.25 inches off of each side so that we can move it in. It doesn't matter how far you move it in, but you don't want to get it too close to the flue. So you've got anywhere from the outside edge of the crown until they're touching the flue. So we went ahead and took about 2.5 inches off of each side and sized it that way. So we ended up with a 17-inch wide. That was the closest one that would fit, by 49 by 10 inches tall. And so when your big top arrives, it's going to come into a box just like this. We'll go ahead and open it up, and when you open it up to the inside, you're going to see the big top. You're going to see the critter and spark arresting screen. And then there's going to be, depending on the size of the big top, this is a pretty big one, we're going to have a couple of tubes of adhesive that we need to use to install this. And we'll show you about that a little bit later. All right, so we're just going to now quickly unpackage it here. And in the package, you're going to have 2 end pieces. These will be the sides, and then the 2 long pieces. And I've got a helper here. Will help me get her unboxed a little bit for the unboxing. And as I mentioned, we have our mounting flange. This is the part that's going to go down, and it's going to set on top of the crown of the chimney. And this is the part that's going to go to the top that we're going to mount the big top to. The way that I like to do them is to get everything kind of set up and go ahead and put one of my corners on first to make it nice and easy. Now, the way that these work is there are tabs. You can see these little tabs here, and you push them in, they click on, and then you bend them over. All right, so we'll go ahead and build the first corner. And as I mentioned, we've got our little tabs that'll go in, and there's little slots in the corner. And we're gonna simply run these right in. Make sure it's all lined up, and then we're going to go ahead and fold these over so that they're nice and tight. And now, as you can see, we've built a corner piece and a top piece. Repeat the process on the other side. Now this one, you'll see the slots. We come around and get to it from the back side here. We've slipped them right in. And we're going to do, once again, we're going to fold them over nice and tight. And it's not too hard, it's not terrible. I can easily do it with my finger and my thumb. And then the final part of the whole thing to build the cage is the last side of it. And we're going to simply repeat the process. We'll slide the fins in, and once we've got them slid in, we'll go ahead and fold them over, and then the very last one, fold it over. And now we're 90% there. We've got the cage done. The last thing that we have to do is just mount the big top onto the top. I'm gonna go ahead and clear off my table so I can set up for the big top. Okay, we've cleared the table off. I went ahead and grabbed one of our caulk tubes, and be very careful with these caulk tubes because packaged inside are gonna be some high C instructions, as well as some Tapcon screws to go into the crown and the mounting hardware for the big top. So our next step is to simply put the big top on and align the 6 screws with the holes on the top. And you might ask yourself, hey, why are the screws coming through? Why are we doing this? Why not just bolt the screws through the other way? Well, the reason is once we get this mounted to the top of the crown, if a chimney sweep has to come in and clean the chimney, he can simply remove all 6 nuts. He can simply remove all 6 nuts, pull the top off, and access the flues for cleaning and maintenance. And it's helpful for if you have to get up there and do any other servicing, like if you're redoing tuck pointing or anything else and you got to maneuver it around to be able to take this apart. So we'll just go ahead and open the package. We'll go ahead and install the 6 included screws. We'll go ahead and install the 6 included bolts. And then we'll be ready to take it up and mount it on the chimney. All right, we've got all 6 of the nuts hand tight now. And now all I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back in here and we're just gonna snug them up. We don't need to reef these down to the point of no return, but we're gonna take them till they're nice and snug, maybe beyond hand snug, and give it another 1/2 to a 3/4 turn. Just make sure that these are not gonna vibrate loose in the wind, and that they're snug enough now, and definitely that they're not going to come off.
Thanks for watching. If you found this walkthrough helpful, give us a like and subscribe for more tips from our wildlife exclusion pros.